Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. The opinions of hosts and guests do not necessarily reflect the opinion of this network.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk only on Paranormal Experience Radio. Broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama. This is Ghost Talk with 187 PI. Sit back and prepare yourselves for an adventure into the paranormal world with host Shelly Robertson and 187 PI research team. Ghost Talk is broadcasting live from Ohio's most haunted jail. Learn about their ongoing research at the jail and abroad, investigation techniques, and their personal encounters. Here is your host of Ghost Talk and 187 PI founder, Shelly Robertson.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Ghost Talk Radio with me as your host, Shelly Robertson. And tonight, I have a very interesting show planned for all my listening friends out there. I will be taking you on a journey through some of the most haunted countries in the world, along with their most haunted destinations. I would like to invite all my listening friends out there tonight to join me in the Spreaker chat, where you can join in on any conversation and ask me any questions you might have. Now, I want to start the evening off with letting you all know that many places featured in tonight's show are places that you can really visit. And with that being said, please, before you head out to any of the locations, please check for hours of operation or contact the property owners or property management and get proper authorization before visiting. So I've got these haunted countries tonight we're going to go through 10 of them. So I've got them listed from the least to the most. And ranking in at number 10 on my list tonight for the most haunted countries in the world is Colombia. And you're going to say, Colombia? Yes, Colombia, folks. Believe it. Now, Colombia is officially, of course, the Republic of Colombia, and is a country in South America with territories in North America. Colombia is bounded on the north by the Caribbean Sea and the northwest by Panama, the south by Ecuador and Peru, and the east by Venezuela, the southeast by Brazil, and the west by the Pacific Ocean. So, can you all picture that in your mind's eye, where exactly Colombia is? I know, right? It comprises 32 departments and the capital district of Bogota, which is also the country's largest city. Now, some pretty interesting facts about Colombia, like what they're known for. I know, y'all are going to guess it. The number one thing. Can we all say it together? Coffee! Yes, my favorite drink. It's also famous for bananas, roses, and believe this, the best emeralds in the world. Not to mention, Colombia produces 60% of the emeralds in the entire world. Artists such as Shakira and Sofia Vergara are also from Colombia. And here's another little fact that you're going to find solely surprising. The very first functional pacemaker was developed in Colombia. I bet you didn't know that, huh? I'll tell you what else. Colombia has 1,845 different species of birds. And you know what that does? That makes Colombia rank number 1 in the world for bird watching. Yep, you want to go see some fascinating birds? That is the place to go, folks. Now, along with all those positive and wonderful things that Colombia is known for, that's right, they're also known for some not so wonderful things, right? And some of those not so wonderful things are Pablo Escobar and all the drug cartels in the 80s and early 90s. They're also the number 1 producer of cocaine in the world. They are also some bad way parliamentary groups for their horrible massacres. And of course, they are the number 10 ranked haunted country in the world. And maybe this is linked to all the violence and killings, you know how hauntings get started. So one of the most haunted places in Colombia, and there's many, but featured tonight is Hotel del Salto. Now, Hotel del Salto, it translates quite literally to Hotel of the Leap. And it has purportedly been haunted for decades. Now serving as a museum, the century-old structure in Colombia overlooks a waterfall on the Bogota River. Now, before the Spanish landed in South America and began wiping out the native populations, Bogota was called Bacata. Can you believe that? And it was ruled over by the Muisca. And those native people were just as advanced as the Incas and the Aztecs, but they were also woefully unprepared to deal with European diseases and weaponry, okay? So many of these native people, they were raped and they were murdered, or they were forced into slavery and servitude by the Spanish conquerors. Now, some chose to escape this fate by running off the edge of the Tequendama Falls. Now, as desperate souls plummeted 515 feet to their deaths, that's quite a fall, folks. These people, they held firmly to the belief that their bodies would transform into that of an eagle's. And with their new wings and lighter bodies, they'd be able to fly away from the Spanish and find some freedom. Now, of course, we know, while their souls may have flown away, their bodies did not survive this fall. Then, of course, several centuries later, Hotel de Salto was built on this cliff, right? Initially, it was used as a residential mansion, home of architect Carlos Arturo Tapias, and it opened its doors to guests in 1928 with unnerving consequences. Just beyond the walls where the falls cascade down the foggy mountains, many have leaped to their deaths, either out of despair or inspired by the native lore in the area. Now, unfortunately, business dropped off during the 30s due to the Great Depression and would never again reach the dizzying heights it cleared in 1929. Those tragic deaths weren't the only thing keeping visitors at night, okay? Hotel guests, they often claimed to have seen apparitions inside the hotel and outside by the falls. Some even said they heard quiet voices conversing in strange languages. Possibly, those could have been the spirits of the native people, right? According to another account, this dark energy of the falls drove a hotel guest to brutally murder a beautiful young socialite in one of the rooms, splattering the walls with her blood. And many people say that her vengeful spirit can be seen peering from the windows of the room where she died. While the hotel stood empty for a while, there were reports of loud cries emanating from the building at night, and that just strengthened the belief in the area that the place is haunted. Additionally, the road leading up to the building has been the site of numerous mudslides and accidents, which some also believed were a sign of further paranormal activity. Was it paranormal activity or just consequence of bad weather? Well, people are judging paranormal activity. Now, alleged hauntings aside, when the hotel was still open for business, guests often found themselves involved in police investigations of deaths at the falls, and that also hurt the hotel's reputation as well. Tourists are still warned to stay close to the property at night so they don't fall off the edge of this cliff by mistake. some visitors have even fell off the balcony, whether intentionally or not. The facts of that remain unknown. Now, to top it all off, the foul-smelling water in the heavily polluted Bogota River, which is below the hotel, it just reinforces the senses that something is very wrong with the hotel. The water in this river is so toxic that in some places no life can even survive. That's pretty polluted, folks, wouldn't you say? However, things finally started to change for the hotel in 2011 when an effort to turn the seemingly doomed building around. In 2013, the former mansion officially opened for its very first exhibit, and that was the debut of Caverns, Ecosystems of the Subterranean World, and it showcased the region's biodiversity and marvels of underwater ecology. Now, today, curious visitors can tour the hotel and check out all the spots and everything, but only during business hours, which end at 5 p.m. So if you want to be there after dark, you will have to get some sort of special permission. Okay, folks? Now we're going to travel on to the 9th on our haunted country list. We're going to stop at the Netherlands. The Kingdom of the Netherlands, it originated in the aftermath of the French Emperor Napoleon Bonaparte's defeat in 1815. In that year, the Netherlands regained its independence from France under its first French Empire, which had annexed its northern neighbor in 1810 as the sovereign principality of the United Netherlands. And, of course, the official language is Dutch. The Netherlands, and formerly Holland, as we all think of it as, is a country primarily located in Western Europe and partly in the Caribbean, forming the largest constituent country of the Kingdom of the Netherlands. In Europe, it consists of 12 provinces that border Germany to the east, Belgium to the south, and the North Sea to the northwest, with maritime borders in the North Sea, and with those countries and the United Kingdom. So in the Caribbean, it consists of 3 special municipalities, and that's the islands of Bonaire, Saba, and St. Eustatius. Now, when we talk about what the Netherlands is famous for, I know what all comes to mind. For you, for me, for everyone. You got it. That's the windmills, the tulips, the Heineken and Amstel beer, which is the most popular beers from the Netherlands. Cheese, the most popular is Gouda. And we can't forget those wooden clogs that have been the traditional footwear for many years, dating back as old as the 13th century. Now, of course, you're not going to be seeing people walking around in those shoes in the Netherlands today because they don't wear them anymore. They're just mostly for, tourism, so you can get you a pair of those wooden shoes. And, of course, we mustn't forget that the Netherlands is also known for hauntings, as is all of these places on the list tonight. Now, one of the places believed to be the most haunted, do you guys know what it is? Some of you probably do. Can you guess? If you guessed the Anne Frank house, you would be right, which is located on a canal near the Westerkerk in central Amsterdam in the Netherlands. The Anne Frank house is a writer's house, a biographical museum, and it's dedicated to Jewish wartime and to the diary of Anne Frank, okay? Now, it was during World War II. Anne Frank hid from Nazi persecution with her family and 4 other people in a hidden rooms at the rear of the 17th century canal house known as the Secret Annex. Unfortunately and tragically, Anne did not survive the war, but her wartime diary was published in 1947. Unexpectedly, in August 1944, after being in the secret annex for 25 months, the place was raided by Dutch police officers. The people from the secret annex were taken to Westerbork and then put on a transport to Auschwitz. And her father, Otto Frank, was the only one of them to survive the concentration camps. Now, in late 1944, Anne and her sister Margot were taken from Auschwitz to the Bergen-Belsen concentration camp, and they were taken on a crowded train. Their mother, Edith, was left behind, and in Bergen-Belsen, Anne Frank ran into some kids that she used to know in Amsterdam, and she talked to some of these girls who she'd gone to school with. And so that was a little comforting, but it was in the winter of 1944 to 1945, the situation in Bergen-Belsen deteriorated. There was little food, the camp was filthy and just crawling with germs and vermin and disease, and many prisoners fell ill. Margot and Anne Frank, they contracted spotted typhus, and they died in February 1945. Nothing is known about their final days, not too much. But after the liberation of Auschwitz, it took 6 weeks before Otto was strong enough to leave the camp. He was so weak, he's barely survived. On March 5th, 1945, he went to Katowice, which is a nearby town, and there this woman, Rosa de Winter, she had been in the same barracks as Otto's wife, Edith. She told him that Edith had died, and Otto had wrote to relatives in Switzerland and in England, and he actually wanted to join his relatives in Switzerland, but that wasn't possible because he had no proof of identity now. And so he had to join other Dutch people who were going home, and he had to go back to where he was captured from, right? So it was April 2nd, Otto left for Odessa in the Soviet Union, which is today's Ukraine, and Odessa is a city on the Black Sea, and he arrived there like 3 weeks later. Okay, so it was in July 1945. Otto Frank, he met with his sisters, and they had been imprisoned at Bergen-Belsen with Anne and Margot, and they told him about the miserable last months of his daughters and how they had died of typhus. And there was this other gal named Meep, and she heard the terrible news. Well, she had kept Anne's diaries for her, and now that Anne wasn't coming back, she handed them over to Otto, and it took some time, but Otto finally got the courage up to read some of Anne's diary, and when he started reading, he was just, really gripped. He had no idea of the depths of her thoughts and feelings. So he copied some of the passages from the diaries, and he asked relatives and friends to read them. And some of them felt that he should publish the diaries, and others were against it. So Otto eventually decided to go ahead and compile the manuscript for publishers to read, right? So the annex opened its doors to the public on May 3rd, 1960, and the restoration wasn't finished yet, but the secret annex could be visited. The main building was furnished to accommodate exhibitions and a documentation center. At Otto's request, the secret annex was kept unfurnished after the arrest of the people in hiding because it had been emptied by the Nazis, and he wanted to keep it just the way it was. So there's been so many reports at the Anne Frank house that, tell that when you visit the secret annex, you can feel cold spots in certain areas of Anne's room. And if you walk around to the back around midnight, you can see the figure of a young girl. And some believe it to be Anne herself gazing out the window, and after a few seconds, poof, she disappears. Now, some have reported hearing a loud sort of rumbling down the stairs leading to the basement, and many folks, they think that dates back to an event that occurred while Anne was still living, in which a sack of uncooked beans was spilled down the stairs accidentally. A very tragic period in time indeed. And now, folks, we're going to travel on to the 8th most haunted country, which is Portugal. And after this short break, we will return to talk about the hauntings of Portugal. And with that, you are listening to WBHM-DB, Birmingham, Alabama.
You are listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, Birmingham, Alabama.
Paratalk Radio is your one-stop for all things paranormal, the unknown, and the supernatural. Join us every Monday night at 8 p.m. Eastern, 7 p.m. Central for discussions and guests on topics such as ghosts, hauntings, Bigfoot, UFOs, and more. This broadcast is rated M for mature and intended for listeners over 16 on paratalkradio.com.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Thank you for listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
The time is 23 minutes after the hour.
Welcome back to Ghost Talk Radio with me as your host, Shelly Robertson. And tonight we are taking a journey through some of the most haunted countries in the world, along with some of their destinations. And if you missed the first part of the show, no worries, friends. You can catch the full show archive at Spreaker, Google Play, iTunes, iHeartRadio, and actually wherever you have listening service, we are probably there too. And prior to the break, we were about to get into Portugal. And I know that's not a place where you normally would think is the most haunted country, but you know, it really is, right? It's number 8 on the list tonight. And Portugal is officially the Portuguese Republic in a country located on the Iberian Peninsula in southwestern Europe. It is the westernmost sovereign state in the mainland Europe, being bordered to the west and south by the Atlantic Ocean and to the north and the east by Spain. The official national language is, of course, you guessed it, folks, Portuguese. Now, Portugal is the oldest nation state on the Iberian Peninsula and one of the oldest in Europe, its territory having been continuously settled, invaded, and fought over since prehistoric times. It was inhabited by pre-Celtic and Celtic peoples, visited by Phoenicians, Carthaginians, ancient Greeks, and ruled by the Romans, who were followed by the invasions of the Suebi and Germanic peoples. Now, After the Muslim conquest of Iberian Peninsula, most of its territory was part of Al-Andalus, okay? Now, some of the things that Portugal is famous for, it is famous for the production of port wine. Portugal is one of Europe's, if you got to believe this, top surfing destinations. They are famous for peri-peri chicken. If any of you are cooks or watch the cooking shows, you'll see that on there once in a while. It's a Portuguese barbecue chicken, and it's a little spicy, folks. And here's something so amazing. I bet this will astound you as well. Portugal is the world's top cork producer and is the home to the largest cork forest in the world. And they're also known for hauntings, of course. One of the most haunted places in Portugal is the Cemitério dos Prazeres, which is the Cemetery of Pleasures, and it's the largest and most romantic and perhaps one of the most haunted places in the country's capital. Built in 1833 after a cholera outbreak, it has become the final resting place for prominent members of the Portuguese community. Although peaceful and beautiful, the mausoleums and the above-ground tombs, they add such an eerie energy. And in some of the tombs, folks, you can even see the skeletons inside, okay? How creepy of that. Everybody is buried above ground. There's been many, many reports of seeing apparitions roaming at all times, day and night, through this cemetery. Now on to the seventh most haunted country in the world on the list tonight, and that is the Philippines. The Philippines, officially the Republic of the Philippines, is an archipelagic country in Southeast Asia situated in the Western Pacific Ocean, and it consists of about 7,641 islands that are broadly categorized under three main geographical divisions from the north to the south, okay? The Luzon, the Visayas, and the Mindanao. Now, the capital city of Philippines is Manila, and it's the most popular city next to Quezon. Now, both are within the urban area of Metro Manila. They're bounded by the South China Sea to the west, the Philippine Sea to the east, and the Celebes Sea to the southwest. The Philippines shares maritime borders with Taiwan to the north and Japan to the northeast, okay? Indonesia to the south, and Malaysia and Brunei to the southwest. Now, the Philippines, as you can imagine, with all those islands, it's known for island hopping. They have fellas with boats that'll shuttle you from island to island, and it's also known for beach resorts. It's known for the World War II history because few countries endured more pain, suffering, and damage than the Philippines, okay? And, of course, there is the hauntings. One of the most haunted places in the Philippines is Clark's Air Base Hospital, and it's located 3 miles west of Angeles and 40 miles northwest of Metro Manila. It's considered one of the most haunted locations in the Philippines as it served as an asylum to the wounded and dying American soldiers during the Second World War and subsequent Vietnam War. Ghost Hunters International visited the hospital in 2009, and they confirmed the paranormal activities there. And let me tell you, it is said to believe that people who visit the hospital and go to sleep within 8 hours of their visit, they experience nightmares and intense lucid dreaming for a week. Some of the other paranormal reports are in the morgue. Many people have heard screams and voices saying, "Help me, I don't want to die." The sounds of swing music are often heard in the early morning hours by the foundation of what is left of the old canteen. Now, there was a reported suicide of a serviceman who killed himself to avoid capture, and he is said haunt the airport. But let me tell you, it's the base hospital itself is said to see most spirit activity, and that even when it was open and in operation, nursing staff and other employees reported doors opening and closing, and most chillingly, they would see the ghosts of people standing who would just simply vanish into thin air, right? Apparitions. Screams of babies crying can often be heard, as well as countless reports of the apparitions floating or walking throughout the building. And some of them look to be dead soldiers bearing battle wounds. Many reports of apparitions have also been seen at the airstrip as well. And been many reports, and they say that whoever dares to step inside the hospital area, they may get objects thrown at them, making it all too clear that they are not welcome there. So very haunted. If you want to, get on a plane and go visit, that's a good place to visit for hauntings. Now we're going to travel on to the 6th most haunted country in the world, and it's Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico, officially the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico, and from 1898 to 1932, it was called Puerto Rico in English. Can you believe that? Doesn't that make sense? And it's an unincorporated territory of the United States. It's located in the Northeast Caribbean Sea, approximately 1,000 miles southeast of Miami, Florida. Puerto Rico is famous for its food, of course, its rum and culture, and there are more than 270 miles of beaches in total, and some of them are regarded as the most beautiful beaches in the world. And let's not forget the hauntings. One of the most haunted places in Puerto Rico is Castillo San Felipe del Morro. And El Morro is one of the oldest and most haunted spots in Puerto Rico, built in the 1500s. El Morro is a series of forts overlooking the San Juan Bay. This area is notorious for sightings of a spirit of a woman that glides along the ramparts dressed all in white. You know, the lady in white folks. Moans of fallen soldiers can be heard, and the ghosts of old prisoners have been seen hovering along the grounds of El Morro. These frequenting grounds are basically a playground for the departed. Next, our 5th most haunted country on tonight's list that we shall visit, you guessed it, Germany. The German Empire was founded on January 18, 1871, in the aftermath of 3 successful wars by the North German state of Prussia. Within a 7-year period, Denmark, the Habsburg monarchy, and France were vanquished in short, decisive conflicts. Germany, officially the Federal Republic of Germany, is a country at the intersection of Central and Western Europe. It's situated between the Baltic and North Seas to the north and the Alps to the south. It also borders Denmark to the north, Poland and Czech Republic to the east, Austria and Switzerland to the south, and France and Belgium and the Netherlands to the west. So can you picture that in your mind's eye, folks? Just right about where Germany is without looking at the map? I know you can now. Now, Germany, of course, is known for its beer, right? There's around 1,300 German breweries and 5,000 brew brands. So there's a lot of beer in Germany. Sausages called Wursts in Germany are also a very important part of the German cuisine, made of pork, beef, or veal. They're flavored in different ways depending on the region. And I know we eat bratwurst here too. I mean, I do on occasion. And in German, they're mostly consumed after a mug of beer alongside with it, okay? And here's another fun fact. Germans are well known for their long tradition of baking bread. Can you believe that? Baking bread. All different kinds of bread. Middle Age castles and palaces built by the European nobility are among the most important buildings in the German architectural history. It is estimated that there are around 25,000 castles throughout the whole country. The difference between castles and palaces is that the first were built for defense and battle, while the second was designed more as only a residence for the wealthy noblemen of the time. The world's largest and one of the oldest beer and travel funfair festivals is held in Germany. And if you guessed Oktoberfest, folks, you would be correct. And Oktoberfest dates back to the beginning of the 19th century, and since then, it's one of the most celebrated events in the history of Germany. The festival is all about beer and parades of restaurateurs, and they travel on carriages, and they go from the downtown to the festival grounds, and people are all in costumes. And it's estimated around 72% of the Oktoberfest participants are from Bavaria, while the rest are from abroad, other areas. And of course, Oktoberfest is one of the world's largest fairs held annually from late September to mid-October in the Bavarian city of Munich. It's a 16-day fiesta, folks. Beer and sausages and partying and fun. And if you know a little bit about cars, then you must know some of the most popular car manufacturers are from Germany, such as Audi, Volkswagen, BMW, and Mercedes-Benz. And of course, we can't forget the hauntings, right? One of the most haunted places in Germany is, can you guess what it is, folks? It is Frankenstein Castle. Is a hilltop castle in the Odenwald overlooking the city of Darmstadt in Germany. It is thought that this castle may have been an inspiration for Mary Shelley when she wrote her 1818 Gothic novel Frankenstein, or the modern Prometheus, okay? There was this fella, Johann Conrad Dippel, and he was born at Frankenstein Castle in 1673, and he was a theologian, an alchemist, and a physician who led a pretty controversial and adventurous life, which triggered lots of rumors, okay? Fact is that he experimented with dead animals and also on some dead people, right? In his dissertation, Remedies of the Life of Flesh, okay? Dippel claims to have discovered both the elixir of life and the means to exorcise demons through potions he concocted from boiled animal bones and flesh. This is the same essay in which Dippel claimed to believe that souls could be transferred from one corpse to another using a funnel, okay? That's some crazy stuff, right? The controversial theory that Dippel was a model for Mary Shelley's book, Frankenstein, it's never been proven, although it was found that Shelley traveled in the Rhine area, and she might have heard about Dippel's activities. Now, there have been many paranormal investigations done at the castle. Many EVPs have been captured, along with many reports of strange phenomena and strange noise, animal noises, apparitions, and the such. So, very haunted place. So, go to Germany, visit Frankenstein's Castle. Number 4 on the list tonight of the most haunted countries in the world. Can you guess what it is? I will tell you. It's Japan. Japan is an island country in East Asia located in the Northwest Pacific Ocean. And Japan spans 6,852 islands, right? There's 5 main islands. And Tokyo is Japan's capital and, of course, the largest city. Now, Japan, they're known for some pretty amazing things. Some of them I know you guys are going to know all about. Some of them maybe not so much. They're known for capsule hotels, where you sleep in a coffin. That's pretty amazing, right? They're known for cherry blossoms, Mount Fuji, or Fuji, let me say, which is the sacred mountain. They're known for sumo wrestling, geishas, and of course, they are the land of sushi, right? Japanese cuisine of sushi. They're also known for karaoke and, of course, samurais. In the year 660 BC, Japan's first emperor ascended to the throne. And the Japanese believe that all humans have a spirit or soul called a recon. Ghosts are yureis, meaning faint spirit. The most reportedly haunted place in Japan, as you can imagine, folks, is Hiroshima and Nagasaki. And it should come to no surprise that these two sites of such terrible tragedy are haunted by unfortunate souls who perished during the nuclear bomb attacks at the end of World War II. Ghostly voices are heard in the evening hours, crying and screams for help have been reported, and just literally tons of apparitions have also been seen. What a tragic that was, and no wonder that is a very haunted place. Our number 3 spot on the haunted country list tonight, Ireland. Ireland is an island in the North Atlantic, and it's separated from Great Britain to its east by North Channel, the Irish Sea, and St. George's Channel. Ireland is the second largest island of the British Isles and the third largest in Europe, and of course, the 12th largest on Earth. Ireland is famous as the origin of Halloween. Yay! I just love Halloween. Ireland is home of St. Patrick's Day, and it's also famous for its beers. Ireland is famous for its numerous castles, and they have over 30,000 castles. One of the most haunted places in Ireland is Charleville Castle, County Offaly. Charleville Castle is thought to be of one of the most haunted places in all of Europe. Charleville Castle dates back to 1798 when it was built for Earl of Charleville, William Bury, and his family. It remained in the family until 1963 when Charles Burley suddenly dropped dead. Today, people report hearing disembodied voices and classical music throughout the property. Visitors have claimed that sounds of children playing fill the air in the room that was once a nursery, and the apparition of a young girl named Harriet has been spotted in the stairwell. Harriet died in the 1800s while she was playing on the stairwell. Legend has it that a little girl can be heard giggling and talking, and has even moved furniture. The castle was reportedly built on ancient land where religious leaders once convened. The current owners of the property say they've seen hooded figures walking around the castle grounds. Now that would be pretty unnerving. And with that, folks, we'll have to go to this short break. You are listening to Ghost Talk Radio on WBHM-DB.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experience Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Oh, come on. I'm Southern, but... Nope. That'll do. Hello. I am Kat Hobson, host of Paranormal Experience here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting out of Birmingham, Alabama. I enjoy having guests from all areas of the paranormal, from ghosts to ufology to cryptids and beyond. You'll find some of the best researchers in their fields bringing you some great information. Join me on Wednesday nights from 8 to 10 p. Eastern here on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
Since 1948, Fate magazine has brought you reports of the strange and unknown, all of them true. Fate Radio is carrying on that tradition, bringing you the unusual, macabre, strange, and bizarre. Join host Kat Hobson Sunday nights from 8 to 10 p.m. Eastern on WBHM Digital Broadcasting.
You're listening to WBHM Digital Broadcasting, the best in paranormal talk, only on Paranormal Experienced Radio, broadcasting live out of Birmingham, Alabama.
Welcome back to Ghost Talk Radio with me as your host, Shelly Robertson. And if you just tuned in, I invite you to all join me in the Spreaker chat where you can join in on the conversation that's being held there. I'll make a shout out to Kim and Sherry and Kat and chat. Hi, folks. If you missed the first part of the show, no worries. You can listen to the full show archive on Spreaker. In fact, we're on many different. You're probably there. Tonight, we've been traveling to the top 10 most haunted countries in the world, and right now, we're up to number 2. Can you guess what it is, folks? If you guessed the UK, you would be right. The United Kingdom. The United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, commonly known as the United Kingdom or Britain, is a sovereign country in northwestern Europe, off the northwestern coast of the European mainland. The United Kingdom includes the island of Great Britain, the northeastern part of the island of Ireland, and many smaller islands within the British Isles. The United Kingdom consists of the nation. The United Kingdom was formed in 1922 with its capital in London. The UK is the first developed country in the world, if you can believe that. Now, they are known for some pretty fabulous places and things. They're known for Stonehenge, Buckingham Palace, Big Ben, Windsor Castle. They're also known for the luxury cars, the Jaguar and Bentley. And likes to drink beer. The UK has approximately 60,000 pubs. So, whenever you feel like having a cold one, there's probably one on every corner. It's what it sounds like to me. Now, UK is also famous for the royal families of the United Kingdom, and they are renowned in the world for their global charity works. The current head of the British royal family, Queen Elizabeth II, has reigned for over 60 years. She's also a leader of the Commonwealth of Nations, which includes 54 member states. And quite frankly, the British people are pretty proud of the royal family. As a matter of fact, I kind of keep up with the royals myself. One of the most haunted places in the UK is the ancient Ram Inn in England. Often touted as not only one of the most haunted inns in Britain, but arguably the most haunted place in all the British Isles. This Grand 2 listed structure is almost, get this folks, 1,000 years old. And in that time, it's existed as a house, a pub, and an inn. And there are mountains of folklore and dark history surrounding this place. Its former owner, a fellow named John Humphreys, who died in 2017, and his daughter Carol, they've been interviewed by many newspapers actually, and visited by ghost hunters. And not once have they ever shied away from the ghostly tales of the ancient Ram Inn. It's supposedly home to 20 different ghosts and was built, get this is so crazy. It was built on a pagan burial ground where child sacrifices took place. And one of the ghosts is reported to be an incubus. Oh my gosh. You can stay at the ancient Ram Inn and risk being haunted, frightened, frightened, and actually attacked by the incubus for just $25 a night. What a bargain to have the bejesus scared out of you, right? So, you want to find a really good haunted place? Go there and get one of those rooms at that inn for the night. Oh my gosh. All right, we are up to the number one most haunted country in the world. Does anyone know what it is? Take a guess. If you guessed the USA, you would be right. The United States of America, commonly known as United States or the US or America, is a country primarily located in North America. It consists of 50 states, a federal district, 5 major self-serving governing territories, 326 Indian reservations, and some minor possessions. At 3.8 million square miles, it is the world's third or fourth largest country by total area. With a population of more than 328 million people, it is the third most populous country in the world. The national capital, of course, is Washington, D.C., and the most populous city is New York City. Paleo-Indians, they migrated from Siberia to the North American mainland at least 12,000 years ago. That's been a long time. And European colonization began in the 16th century. The United States emerged from the 13 British colonies established along the East Coast, right? Now, there were disputes over taxation and political representation with Great Britain, which led to the American Revolutionary War, 1775 to 1783. And that actually was what established independence. Now, in the late 18th century, the U.S. began vigorously expanding across North America, gradually acquiring new territories and frequently displacing Native Americans, and admitted new states to the Union. By 1848, the United States spanned the entire continent. Slavery was legal in the southern United States until the second half of the 19th century, when the American Civil War led to its abolition. The Spanish-American War and World War I established the U.S. as a world power, a status confirmed by the outcome of World War II. Now, during the Cold War, the United States and the Soviet Union, they engaged in various proxy wars but avoided direct military conflict. They also competed in the space race, culminating in the 1969 space flight that first landed humans on the moon. The Soviet Union's collapse in 1991 actually ended the Cold War, leaving the United States as the world's sole superpower. And that is what we are, folks. The USA is known for, you guessed it, hot dogs, Hollywood, Mount Rushmore, and the Grand Canyon. And there's a lot of other places too, but those are the main ones that tourists are attracted to. One of the most haunted places in the United States is Eastern State Penitentiary in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Okay? There's a lot of them, but this is one of the most haunted. The castle, like Eastern State Penitentiary, it took solitary confinement to new levels when it was built in 1829. Prisoners lived alone, they exercised alone, and they ate alone. And when an inmate left his cell, a guard would cover his head with a hood so he couldn't see and he couldn't be seen. Now, the prison had to abandon its solitary system due to overcrowding from 1913 until it closed in 1970. Although the forms of punishment did not get any less severe, just put this in your mind's eye. Chaining an inmate's tongue to his wrists is one example. How cruel. The site, one of the most haunted places in America, they, have thousands of visitors every year, both for its museum and its annual Terror Behind the Walls celebration, which features 6 haunted attractions within the prison walls for Halloween. Now, reported paranormal happenings here have included disembodied laughter, shadowy figures, pacing footsteps, sounds of slamming doors, and of course, it's also been featured on many paranormal TV shows. Very, very haunted place. Now, next up, now that you've traveled the world with me tonight to the top 10 most haunted countries in the world, let's talk a little bit about what's going on here at the jail. Coming up March 27th, we have a celebrity ghost hunt featuring Stephen Doogie McDougal of Haunted Towns. He was also on Ghost Asylum and Haunted Live. Accompanying him will be Jason Hale and Jeremy Lane of the Fearless Forum and the Fearless Ones Paranormal team, and they will be leading a night of ghost hunting here at the old Paulding Jail. Last time they were here at the jail, we had so much activity. EVP, shadow ghosts. Actually, one of the shadow ghosts was filmed. We have clips of that. And the sheriff himself addressed Doogie by name on the third floor, and we all have the EVP of that. Very, very fascinating. It was a great evening. So if you missed them here at the jail the last time, now's the time to pick up your tickets, as the tickets are limited due to COVID-19, and they are actually selling out quickly. That we don't have that many left. And if you want to reserve your spot, go to 187pi.com under events. This event is listed on our calendar there. Just click on it and you'll be taken to the secure ticket server. In April, we'll be rolling out the escape games again, and this year's games schedule will soon be on the board. We have some private group investigation dates available. Those dates can be found and reserved at 187pi.com under events as well. And it's pretty fabulous how we're getting everything up and going. Ohio is just allowing fairs and different things going on. We still have to keep our group numbers small, but they're starting to open the state up some more and more, I guess, with the vaccines rolling out. So that is some great news. The curfew's been lifted. It's just fantastic. I'd like to let you all know what's going here on at our fabulous network, WBHM-DB. We have some fantastic shows by some amazing hosts and interesting guests. All the shows are, well, not all of them, most of them, 8 p.m. Eastern. Sunday nights, we have Fate Mag Radio with show host Kat Hobson. Monday nights, we have the Paranormal Pride Show with host Denise Pridemore. Wednesday nights, we have Paranormal Experience Show with Kat Hobson. Wednesday night at 10 Eastern. Oh, no. That's moving to tonight, right after my show. You guys are going to need to stay tuned in. We have Soul to Soul Show with host Teal Gray. She comes on after me tonight. And Thursday nights, we have the Full Spectrum Project with host Peter Haviland and Brian Clune. You'll want to be sure to tune in to all these shows as well. And I want to take a brief moment to thank everyone for listening to tonight's live broadcast, taking a moment out of your guys' busy schedule. And I want you all, please, remember to be kind and be positive. What you put out in the universe comes back to you, okay? I also want to wish everyone a very happy weekend. Keep safe, everyone. Good night, friends.